Oh, thank you. I can't remember what year I started doing this here at Columbia. I'm Red Hawk and Indigenous South County, we're based in New York City, and we've had a relationship with the Columbia students dating back over 25 years. So it's always an honor and a pleasure to come and see the new faces. And these young students, when they come into the city, really become part of the Indigenous community here. And it's with their help and their support that really helps to build with what we're doing, organizations here in the Arts Council, the collective, it's speaking a little bit later. And so we welcome you, and I was sorry to see you go. Congratulations to the world. Remembering all these great times that you shared with us here in New York City, with all the best. I'm going to sing a little honor song to wish you luck and blessings to be journeying on to your careers and to the rest of your life. Yeah.
Maybe see that. Welcome again, everyone, to Columbia University and Native graduation. Congratulations to the class of 2023. Columbia College of Native Engineering and Undergraduate Student Life, and our partners across General Studies and Modern College. Thank you for joining us today and celebrating our graduates. In the spirit of what our graduates have brought into our campus community, truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect, upholding each other's dignity, and healing fallen currents to our heritage and identities. At Native graduation, we continue this effort to acknowledge what has been buried. So, as we open today's ceremony by earthing and honoring the truth, we have acknowledged the truth that our institution stands on the ancestral and unseen land of the Columbia people, who are still active members of our community throughout New York, New Jersey. The truth that we lived, gathered, and learned in buildings facilitated by individuals whose wealth and power was built upon Black slave labor. I invite everyone to take a moment to reflect on the many legacies of occupation, colonial settlement, violence, migration, and community trauma that may have informed and continues to inform the respective spaces for where we're all from today. This consideration is not to mar those momentous and joyous occasions, but to acknowledge how significant and critical it is to see our Indigenous graduates of Columbia University today. This is why we have Native graduation. As we open this afternoon's ceremony, it's important to acknowledge many truths. The Luna poet Paul Van Allen wrote, "Truth, acceptance of the truth, is a shattering experience. It shatters the binding shroud of cultural trance. It rips apart smugness, arrogance, superiority, and self-importance. It requires acknowledgement and responsibility for the nature and quality of each of our own lives, our own inner lives, as well as the life of the world. The truth inwardly accepted, humbling truth, makes one vulnerable. You can't be right, self-righteous, and truthful at the same time. It's this truth that propels us to confront the heavy history preserved by our ancestors and perpetuated by structures and institutions that move wrong. At Native graduation, through this acknowledgement of our institution, we can truly see the significance and critical importance of our young people's achievements today. With humility in your brilliance, generosity of spirit, laughter over vibrant fighting, to acknowledge how significant and critical it is to see our brilliant and strong Native and Indigenous graduates of Columbia is truly remarkable. I also want to extend my appreciation. I truly believe that today is about gratitude. Gratitude for ancestors, family, elders, who sacrificed and paved the way for today's achievement to be possible. Gratitude to Kiana and Ava for their insight and support that shaped today's celebration. My personal gratitude for being blessed to serve as advisor to Native American Council, White Native American Heritage Month, and opportunities to uplift our Indigenous students day after day through multiple fairs. And gratitude on behalf of Columbia to see students for continuing challenging and pushing Columbia to make it the institution that it is. Graduates, in the spirit of gratitude today, is for reflection, honoring and celebration of what the Indigenous community has meant to you and how your story has changed not just the people in the space, but the entire campus community. Laguna Pueblo woman, author, professor, Leslie Marvin Silko is known for lyrically weaving tradition with modern, bringing light to clashes with internal and external conflict, complicating the necessity process of healing and reconciliation. In her writing, often modeled the power in telling your own story to create platforms for others to tell theirs. So as you close out your undergraduate and graduate courses of study at Columbia, I'd like to invoke her words as she wrote. But as long as you remember what you've seen, then nothing is gone. And as long as you remember, it is part of this story we have together. Today, in the closing, one of your life's chapters marked by a day of graduation, your voices and experience are forever etched into the story of this institution as well. Your story shaped minds, transformed hearts, and challenged the expected. Your courage and your courage to share your experiences with each other, the student community, and many across the university brought truth to any place here at the institution. Your truth brought continued growth of luau and powwow as we settled back to campus life, expanded the visibility of Indigenous Peoples Day through events at Mailman and Waupaza this past semester, through exploring Indigenous storytelling and philosophy at the third annual Indigenous Peoples Day a la carte Gloria lecture, visibility for the need and demand of the departmentalization of ethnic studies, improved mental health care access and culturally informed healthcare practices to serve underserved communities through social work. Cultural preservation of pride and bringing Native dance and campus, difficult dialogues within the community about anti-Blackness and homophobia, and of course, refuge, laughter, and joy in fry bread at hangouts within the Indigenous Family Tree, the Columbia Mentoring Initiative, and of course, the newly established Indigenous House. From Kiana's fierce leadership and activism, Grace, Logan, and Papia's critical scholarship, Wyatt's heartfelt mentorship, Audrey and Zane's artistic eye, Bar's pursuit for justice, Olivia's important work delving into trauma research, Malia's advocacy for food sustainability, Matthew's journalistic talents, legal justice and tribal policy, indigenous law, and nonprofit work by Esteban and Nathan, and dedication to public health, medicine, and health access by Lily, Robin, Hope, Ariel, and Alex. All of your actions and voices about Columbia could make hope and change in the face of marginalization, pride in being a member of the Indigenous community, and courage to all demanding their human rights and dignity. As courageous and powerful as you all are in getting to this moment of graduation, we also know that that path was often paved with difficult dialogue, painful questioning, misunderstanding, and frustration. Those are the times when a moment like this is so critical. Really thinking about and reflecting on Ella Cara's glorious words, she wrote, "In the closest lay such strength and social importance as no single family, however able, could or wish to keep entirely by its own efforts." You didn't do this alone, you did it together. And that's something that's been so inspirational being your advisor over these past few years, is knowing the tightness of the community. You have such groundedness in your families that are reflected here, that are always supporting you, behind you. But the family that you make here is one that has an unbreakable bond of love. So I want you to turn to each other, give each other, and really think about all the people behind you. All those family, friends, supporters who are over the years. They're all here. We have to remember our elders and ancestors, family members who couldn't be with here, but they're all here with you today. And I know everyone in this room is so tired, but I ask you to do one more thing. I just ask you to continue to love, support, and continue to heal. You're too important to each other, to the Indigenous community, and the generations of students after you. It means so much of your joy. But today, be a reminder of that individual state that you have is only amplified in the love and belief that we all have in you. As you graduate here, at the graduation, and in all that you're necessary. Congratulations, class. And now I would like to introduce Brady Talk, so we will be over.
I'm a little bit taller than Melissa. But hello, friends. My name is Grace Fox. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I belong to the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. I just graduated, I guess, earlier today. A double major in psychology and ethnicity and race studies for Native American and Indigenous studies. And with wrapping up my education today, I have the wonderful honor of introducing Professor Michael Wiggin. Michael Wiggin is professor in the Department of History and the Center for the Study of Ethnicity and Race at Columbia University, and the director of the Levin Center for American History. He is a citizen of the Red Cliff Band of Lake Superior, Illinois. Wiggin studies Indigenous and early American history with a particular focus on the Great Lakes. His publications include An Infinity of Nations, How the Native New World Shaped Early North America, and Seeing Red, Indigenous Land, American Expansion, and the Political Economy of Plunder in North America, which was a finalist for the 2023 Pulitzer Prize in History. Thank you so much for speaking with us today, Mr. Wiggin.
Thank you for asking me to be part of the chance to speak to you guys today. And I want to start out by saying that Native people in the United States have a really complicated history when it comes to institutions of education. I think anybody who's been educated in the United States with a standard sort of history trajectory that you take through high school, standard sort of US history. One of the things you do with Native history, small piece of it, is in a standard average high school education with boarding school. And perhaps the greatest signifier of kind of the political project of the United States, particularly the boarding school project of Richard Henry Pratt, established a Carlisle boarding school with the motto, "Kill the Indian and save the man." This is a thing that often sticks out because it's such a signifier of the trauma and criminal projects that the United States and its formation and foundation of that Native people. And it's easy to look at the massive ways in which education has actually played a really pivotal role for Native people who defended themselves and creating the future for themselves. Outside of this one traumatic moment, we admitted that the country was founded in the United States and found themselves in a dialogue with Native people who actually occupied the territory they imagined was unsettled. The United States thought that they could create this relationship around an idea about a civilizing project, bring civilization to native peoples. And a huge part of that was education. And so from the beginning, the United States created a civil project fund. The federal government, when it was established, created this fund so they could offer missionaries to all the tribes with whom they were engaged in relationships and territory that they claimed. And so part of this was sending Indian agents out to different tribal communities and asking if they would accept and receive missionaries. And this was a part of the American experience from the international Native people. And right from the Great Lakes, the people, the Christian up the Great Lakes, the Davies don't come until the mid-19th century. When they come, they ask reservation community, do you want missionaries? Those communities said, well, yes. The caveat, we can't get a promise that we're going to convert. We're not really interested in that, but if we bring schools, we like that. And from the beginning, people recognized that education was the way people could arm themselves to protect, not for this extinction of the ground that's military fact, have in mind, but as a way for arming the children to protect themselves and to create an indigenous future for themselves. And so from the beginning of the Republic, Native peoples have realized that in order to continue to provide a future for themselves, for the community, for the children, and embrace education was super important. And it has been an important part of the indigenous experience in North America, arming yourself with education, you can protect yourself, your family, and community. So you can make sure that this process of assimilation that was imagined part of the original American project can be undone. And instead, people can forge a future for themselves, an indigenous future in North America. And that's certainly the sort of thing that drove me interested in great education. The community that I was from, when I was finishing undergraduate school, was engaged in civil disobedience in terms of spearfishing, treaty rights off reservation. That produced a sort of enraged response from the non-native community. And it always struck me that part of that problem was the lack of knowledge about indigenous history. That you could sort of separate the U.S. history from indigenous history. And so I sort of went back to grad school with that idea in mind that we would engage in the study of North American history as an indigenous history. And we can't separate those two things. But also I could then take a role in higher education to help people develop the skills that they would need within themselves, their communities, and make sure that there's always going to be an indigenous future in North America. And I think that's the work that we want to do here. I've been able to do that with some of you in the audience. It's been a really great joy since I've been at Columbia for the last couple of years. I think I found the students that were better than any institution I've been at. People were just hardcore dedicated to the project. Of learning not only the content, but developing the skill sets that come with higher education, arming yourself for a future. And it makes me feel really hopeful about the place of the future for Native people in the United States, because I've had a chance to work with so many of you, and it's been such a profound and gratifying experience. And so I'm really confident that you guys have gone through perhaps the toughest arc that people have gone through in a long time, maybe through the pandemic, which was brutal. And if you persevere and come through that on the other side, it's really a testimony to your commitment, not only education, but providing a future for yourself and for your people, to make sure that is the future. The future of the United States that always will be very people. Future that will be centered around the indigenous experience in North America. And for giving me a chance to participate in that, both as an instructor here at Columbia and to offer a few words about that experience, I'm deeply grateful. And I think you should all feel tremendous pride as students graduated from a leading institution. It's amazing that you've done it with this particular art of history, which was the toughest that any college students have engaged in the last 20 years. So, congratulations to you all. Thank you for asking me to come today. And I wish you luck.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ariel Roger. I'm Cover Indigenous and Right, I'm Arab people. I was turned down today by Venezuela. I'm a social worker and doctoral graduate of the School of Social Work, and I'm here to introduce Sun King today. Sun King is Afro-Indigenous, descendant of an Anomaly and Oneida Nation in Wisconsin. She earned her Master of Public Health at NYU School of Public Health as an internationally recognized Indigenous rights activist and social entrepreneur. York. She's dedicated to developing and scaling innovative solutions to improve Indigenous health equity across sectors. Her commitment to scaling innovative solutions that support mental health, women's rights, drug policy reform, biocultural conservation and access, and benefit sharing for Indigenous peoples is achieving change and gaining recognition in national publications like the New York Times and Forbes. In 2020, she was nominated as a David Prize finalist for her work to create a better, brighter New York City. In 2021, she was named as NYU Female Founder and one of the 100 most influential people in science by Psychology Press. In 2022, Business Insider recognized 16 most influential women shooting scientists. However, I know studies as a fellow co-founder and co-director of Urbanization Perspective, has led public health NGOs to bring access to culturally tailored health and wellness services for self-identified Indigenous people in Vermont, Mahoning, and the greater New York City area through community-based participatory research, advocacy, community and direct services. We've also been co-founders of mental health application. And she is also with the Indigenous Medicine Conservation Fund as a program manager of engagement and benefit sharing, where she facilitates a relationship between psychedelic space and Indigenous traditional cultures to Sundays Indigenous songwriting. Please join me in welcoming Seth, your friend, colleague, and sister.
Well, so going, Sutton King, not Carol, King of Jackson, run away, and that's how I learned to look at. When I Agani, hello relatives. My English name is Sutton King. My Benami name is not how communications comes first women. As Ariel shared, I'm both Benami and Benami. I identify as Afro-Indigenous, sharing with you a new language that I stand people understand wisdom and to true as I stand here today, I can't help but reflect on the incredible journey that brought me here. Ariel Richard, my dear friend and co-founder, graduating with her PhD in social work. There are words I can't express without the gratitude and admiration of people. From day one, you stood by my side, disrupting and dismantling the oppressive systems around us and amplifying Indigenous voices along the way. I remember when we first met, driven by shared dreams and a desire to uplift our Indigenous communities globally. You brought brilliance, your unique perspective, and a commitment to social justice. Together, we literally poured our hearts into building USC. And today it stands as a testament to our determination to reshape the narratives, uplift Indigenous voices, and foster a more inclusive world. Now, the sister. I'm humbled and full of fire today because you chose me to address this badass Native and Indigenous ceremony. This is not just a celebration of your academic achievements. This isn't just about getting a piece of paper, an expensive piece of paper, but a powerful statement of reclaiming our space in a system that was never built for us. I want to thank Nat and Melinda for the invitation today. Now, when they reached out to me, they asked me to speak and they described me as a passionate, outspoken public health advocate and an activist for Indigenous rights. And I couldn't help but crack a smile. Outspoken? You're damn right. I've been an activist, organizing, disrupting, and speaking truth to power since the age of 15. And you know what? I wear that label as a badge of honor because it means I'm not afraid to challenge the status quo. I'm not afraid to fight for what's right. And neither are all of you. My beloved warriors, fierce dreamers, relentless disruptors, and courageous fighters. I stand before you today honored to honor the strength and resilience of every soul, embracing the diversity that defines us. In this space, we acknowledge and uplift the voices of all Indigenous kin who bring wisdom and power to our collective journey. Today, we unite as warriors of justice, defenders of equality, the architects of a world where every person, regardless of the colonial border that separates us, thrives authentically. Now, before we begin, remember you chose me. We have to take a moment to acknowledge and honor the land in which we are situated. Here at Columbia University, we sit upon the ancestral homelands of the Lenape, the Manhattan, the Canarsie, the Shinnecock, the Rumble, the Munsee, and the Haudenosaunee nations, who have all stewarded these lands for time immemorial. We pay respects to their elders, both past and present, and express gratitude for their continued presence and contributions. Now, let's get real about this name, Columbia. It's named after Christopher Columbus, the epitome of a colonizer. This name symbolizes the erasure of indigenous cultures and the brutal conquest of lands. It reminds us of the exploitation and the conquest that disregards the rich cultures and vibrant civilizations that flourished on this continent long before European arrival. But it's time to reclaim our narrative. We're not about celebrating conquerors. We're about honoring the rich legacies of indigenous nations that have thrived on this land long before. So let's acknowledge the impact that this name has had on our indigenous communities. And it's a constant reminder of the fight that we have every day for the wage of self-determination and sovereignty. This land acknowledgement is more than words. It's a battle cry. It's a declaration of solidarity. We won't just stop at an acknowledgement. We'll use our voices, our platforms, and our power to amplify Indigenous voices, to uplift our struggles, and to fight for our rights. Let's tear down the walls of ignorance, build up our resilience, and fight for our rights. Together, we'll rewrite the narrative, reclaim our power, and honor the land and its original stewards. Now listen up, warriors. We need to talk about the gravity of this moment. We're not just here to celebrate your academic achievements. We're here to rewrite history. The halls of academia have lacked the vibrant presence of Native American and Indigenous knowledge for far too long. However, we stand as a powerful testament of resilience and triumph, diversity. Our presence here is more than a personal achievement. It's a hope for future generations. When our people see us walking across that stage, it sends a message. You belong. Your voice matters, your heritage matters, and your dreams are valid. I want to take you on a personal journey. One that resonates deeply with Indigenous scholars navigating the world. Our ancestors understood the importance of bridging communities and ignoring a contribution for survival, balancing Indigenous ways of being and knowing with the dominant Eurocentric culture, which is quite complex. I can still recall the day I told my mother my design for 15 with a new space. She said, "Oh, you ain't even been there," and it was true. I had never been there, but I knew New York City was where I belonged. I knew that my voice was needed, and I could find a home here. So at 18, my grandmother and mother packed up our car and was the usual 15 hours to the Bronx. And when we got here, New York City looked nothing like what I had seen on TV. They dropped me off in the Bronx. The Bronx became my home. And I've been here for 12 years now. And many of us feel this weight of sacrifice, leaving our families behind. And regardless of leaving my family in Wisconsin, the teachings and principles of my nations and my people came with me. Because regardless of our physical location, our connection to Creator and our people resides deep here. So I want to share two teachings that hold significant meaning: kinship and seven generation. At the core of Indigenous teachings lies a shared value of kinship. Kinship calls for all beings, animate and inanimate, to be good relatives, working in harmony for sustainability. These sacred teachings, which guided our ancestors through colonization and exploitation, also protect Indigenous scholars within academia and corporate America. These Indigenous ancestral teachings and kinship practices, together we discovered communal healing, building society based on kinship ensures that we are in balance with Mother Earth. The second teaching that comes from my people, the Haudenosaunee, we have long embraced the seven generations. It's a principle that really urges us to consider the long-term impacts of our present decisions on the next 7 generations. It serves as a reminder that our actions have consequences that extend far beyond our own lifetime. These teachings really emphasize sustainability and responsible stewardship of the land and the resources, and again, living in harmony with nature. This teaching really highlights this intergenerational and interconnected nature of the world, urging us to transcend far beyond our own individual needs. Now, my journey into research led me to an undergraduate academic institution where I explored the effects of acculturation and mental health on academic performance. This term, acculturation in academia, really resonated and moved me in my personal experience of being both African American and Native American. I really felt, that I was walking into worlds, and so I had always described this experience. But I was really unaware of the profound impact it had on my family and the previous generations. And the research validated this. It is harder for us to exist in this world. During this research, I really delved into the average childhood experience setting, which explored the relationship between your childhood experiences and adult health outcomes. And given my own experience of historical and intergenerational trauma as an Afro-Indigenous, my ACE score was 7 out of 10. This meant that I was 30 times more likely to attempt suicide, deal with suicidal ideation, and experience depression. And a typical school day was much harder for me, coming from the Oneida Reservation and moved into predominantly white schools. Most of my peers didn't look like me, and many of them did not accept me. Well, my ACE score was higher than average. It's really important to remember that my resilience was equally proportional. Despite enduring significant trauma, my determination to overcome adversity surpassed all. Unfortunately, academia frequently fixates on the trauma experienced by Indigenous communities, disregarding our remarkable resilience. In reality, we demonstrated extraordinary conditions to be able to survive. My unique understanding of acculturation and the stereotypes embedded in research really allowed me to take a stand, rebalance power dynamics, center the resilience of our communities, rather than perpetuating a trauma-centered storyline. The opportunity for Indigenous scholars to reshape the narrative is an act of reclaiming our power as experts in our own cultures and facilitating healing for the future generations. I have transitioned from merely walking into worlds to actively bridging them, and so have you. The ability to walk into worlds to navigate the complexities of our existence is a gift passed down from generation to generation. It's a gift bestowed upon me by one of my ancestors, particularly one of my great-grandfathers, Chief Oshkosh the Brave, the Menominee people. He was a visionary leader who understood the profound significance of culture and tradition as the very foundation of our survival as a nation. And in the face of immense pressure from the settler state to uproot our people from our ancestral homelands, my grandfather recognized the dire consequences of movement. He foresaw the devastating impacts that it would have on our community, our identity, and our connection to the land that nourished us for our life source. With determination, we became a bridge between our community and the colonial state. He made strategic decisions to protect our community, and we negotiated the cession of over 10 million acres, ensuring that we retained a connection to our ancestral lands. Today, we are one of the few who remain on our ancestral lands, connected to our creation story, and it really is a testament of his enduring legacy and commitment to advocacy in the name of our community and cultural survival. His resilience and commitment to preserving our heritage continues to guide me on this journey. His example serves as a reminder that our culture is not just a relic of the past, but a living, breathing force that empowers us in our present and shapes our future. Now, I have this idea that academia was going to be the key to my liberation, that it was going to help me make sense of the hurts that I experienced, that my family experienced. And then they hit us with this genogram assignment in my clinical practice course. Seriously, who even knows what a genogram is? It's like a twisted version of a family tree, a visual display of medical history and your family's relationships with trauma. And we were expected to draw it actually on this piece of paper and bring it to class. And it felt like some messed up show and tell session or something. And I looked at the professor and I said, I don't know that there's a piece of paper big enough for my family. And I don't know how it works in your world, but we don't just ask our family about our trauma. And I called my mother, and as soon as I mentioned the assignment, I could sense her instant regret to send me to this private Catholic college. But there I was sitting on the floor of my room in some largest piece of paper I could find in the Staples, trying to make sense of my marriage. My grandma's one of the 13 siblings. And as I delved deeper into the archives, I discovered that my grandfather, Chief Reginald Oshkosh II, was of the first cohort among the many young souls who were forcibly removed and from their family and thrust into the unforgiving corridors of Carlisle Indian boarding school. And as shared earlier, that mantra being "Kill the Indian, save the man." I found letters written, begging to come home. And again, it's a stark reminder of the atrocity inflicted upon our people. But in that moment, I realized that education had become my weapon, my shield against the forces that sought to erase our identities. The classroom became my battleground, where I could challenge the experience of oppression, where I could reclaim our stories, amplify the voices that were once silenced. Throughout history, we have experienced the devastating impacts of colonial education, designed to strip us of our language, our culture, and our identity, forced into these boarding schools where our traditions were suppressed and where they tried to break our spirits. Education was used as a tool to hurt and assimilate us, is now being redefined by our collective power of resilience. Education is no longer about assimilation, it's about revitalization. We are creating spaces within academia, showcasing the richness of our diversity and our indigenous knowledge, really challenging the notion that Western knowledge is superior. We are reclaiming our rightful places as scholars, educators, leaders. We are transforming education into a powerful tool for empowerment and decolonization. And as we celebrate our academic achievements today, let us also celebrate the legacy of our ancestors, all of the visionary leaders who have come before us. Let us honor their sacrifices, their wisdom, and their spirits. May their stories inspire us to be bold in our pursuit of knowledge and uplift our communities, and to be steadfast in our commitment to cultural preservation. We are the descendants of resilient nations, bearers of ancient wisdom, and agents of change. Let us continue to walk in the footsteps of our ancestors, building upon their legacies and creating a future where culture thrives, our voices are heard, and our communities flourish. We owe it to them to make the most of this moment and create lasting change in our communities. Now, we didn't just survive, we excelled. We defied expectations, we shattered stereotypes, and we rocked the foundation of this elitist educational system. Our friends with study represents revolution in the making, Science, arts, technology, policy, you name it, we steward it. But let's not forget about the team that had our backs when things got real, because they did. Our support networks. These are the people who kept us going, who believed in us when we doubted ourselves. Our families, our mentors, our friends, and the fierce staff at Columbia University. They had your backs. They knew you were destined for greatness, and even when society tried to tell us otherwise. So take a moment right now and show some love and gratitude to those in our nation. So my fellow warriors, let's celebrate this milestone with the awareness that we are part of something much bigger. Let our education not only uplift ourselves, but uplift our communities, our cultures, and the voice of all Indigenous. Together we stand at a critical juncture in history. The challenges that we face are immense, but so is our potential for transformational action. Remember kinship, stay connected, not just with one another, but with the broader movement for justice and liberation. Remember the 7th generation teaching. Reach out across generations, across communities, and uplift those whose voices have been silenced for far too long. And remember to draw strength from the wisdom of your ancestors, and let their spirits guide you on your journey. Your presence is a testament to the power of unity and community, and I am humbled by your commitment to a better future for yourself and your people. As you step into the world beyond these walls, remember, you are fierce, you are resilient, and you are your ancestors' wildest dreams. This is not the end of your journey, it is just the beginning. Do not ever forget that you are deserving of so much more than just a seat at the table. So let us not simply settle for a place at their table. Let's scrap their table and use it for a wood for a bonfire. That's a symbol of our resistance. Let us ignite fire, a blazing inferno of change and empowerment that warms us all. We are the architects of our own destiny, the builders of a future that refuses to accept the limitations imposed on us. As we gather the broken pieces and fuel the flames of transformation, remember the power that resides within you. Embrace your uniqueness, your strength, and your spirit. Together, let us create a world that not only recognizes our work, but celebrates. Go forth and unleash the fire within you, not just for you, but for the 7 generations. Let it guide you, let it fuel your actions, and let it inspire others to join this powerful movement. Congratulations, my warriors, class of 2023. The journey ahead may be challenging, but together we are forging new paths, rewriting the rules, and illuminating a future that honors and uplifts voices for all. So I will leave you with 2 words on your journey. Skoden. Screwed it is.
Let's give another hand for Simon. With Sutton's powerful and inspirational words now filled in our hearts, I think it's an honor right now to then bring that energy to the next part, and I'm very excited to segue into introducing our class of 2023. Each of our members of our graduating class has selected a person who has been significant in their journey while at Columbia. When each of our students' name is called, we ask that that person comes up with their name. To help me welcome our graduates and read their names, I would like to introduce H. Cook and
Hi all, my name is Kate Cook. I'm one of the chief education, and I'm a Native Indigenous outreach coordinator in undergrad admissions. And I just wanted to say a quick congratulations to all of the graduates. You've done so many amazing things. It's so exciting. And I hope you and your loved ones are finding so many good things to celebrate, because never stop celebrating is really hard and you've done really great things.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian Gould. As Melinda mentioned, I'm a member of the class of 2018, and it was really awesome just hearing her list all the achievements this class has done throughout this year. And again, just want to extend my congratulations on this immense achievement today.
So we're gonna get started with the names. Dane Roderick, Choctaw. Mom, the bills, Choctaw Nation. Ethan, Scott, Deshawn, Alphabet. Lily Huntsworth, Obama Lakota. Grace Elizabeth Fox, 700.
Thank you.
Esteban Fernando Fresno Rodriguez. 4. Anastasia Alexandria General Oval. Page type. Wyatt Jewett, Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. Olivia Lees, Cherokee. Alex Benjamin, President.
Audrey Nicholson.
Yeah.
Cora Oliveira. Fiona Renee Keats.
Yeah, very good.
Hope Sydney Sanders. Choctaw. Ariel Marie Shirley Richard. Matthew Johnson Schwitzer.
Wait, one more.
Robin Semperviren's. Samuel Slater. Navigation. Logan Elias Shorthair. Cielo Umano. Harvard.
Congratulations to our graduates. Let's give them all a round of I mentioned earlier, I have a very grand honor at the university being the advisor for Native American Council as an alum of Hawaii. And I also share that in proud gratitude. I've been so blessed to have been your advisor. I think I've been the advisor for Native American Council now for 18 years. The endurance of seeing these student leaders endure FTF, university policies, trying to find spaces on campus to meet, but you found a way. You found a way not just to hear at Columbia, but you found a way to each other. And Native American Council has been a real family to you over these past few years. I know a number of you would have not been to this moment right now had it not been for that space that you created for each other. I know I am speaking on behalf of a lot of the other students who couldn't be here today. They had to go home, their resident spaces, but know that they so much love to all of you because you have worked such a path with them of possibility that both have brought them here to Columbia, but will also bring them to this point in the next few years. And so with that, they extend their gratitude to you. Unfortunately, I was looking at my phone because there was a video that was supposed to be sent to you. It didn't get here by this time, but if I could get it, I will definitely share it with you. I do want to share the people who've been an amazing part of the leadership and the heart of the Native community here, and that really starts with Native American Council. So with that, I'm going to call names of the students who've been very active participants in that to come up, and we have blankets on behalf of the organization that we'd like to present. So as I call your name, please come up. We have Zane Roderick. Undergraduate student life, Christine Cross to help me in presenting the line. Also, it's slightly cold here. One person that I mentioned that has a special role within Native American Council is Kiana.
Yeah.
I didn't introduce her as their speaker for this, or the graduating speaker for this afternoon. Kiana is not only president of Native American Council, she's also co-chair of the Indigenous Fellowship for Mentoring Initiative, and co-coordinator of Indigenous Health, and many things on this campus. I do hope, Anna, after you graduate, you will return. So, yeah.
Hello, ganz ehrlich. Ja, ich bin in Michigan, ich bin bei dem Team. This is the table I had. Obviously, it was announced. Hello, everyone. My name is John Peace. And first, I want to say, as the 2022-2023 Native American Council President, I can thank everyone who is here in attendance and send my special thanks to Melinda Kino, who's been so helpful from our transition. You know, even for my first year here, all I heard was Melinda, and now, like after getting super close this past year, she's just so amazing. I mean, she had a baby, and she's out here doing all of these graduation. She did everything. So I mentioned earlier, I've been working as one of the co-chairs of the Indigenous, with Columbia Mentoring Initiative for the Indigenous Community. I've been working with Brian, who I saw earlier, I don't know if but I also was going to continue to the Office of Multicultural Affairs because they've just been so helpful in supporting our events as for the Native American Council. And then I also send my thank you to Michael Vickin and Sarah King, who graciously printed us with their words, both not only extending their experiences and work, but also being just very supportive of Indigenous students, whether that's in academia or through your own field with the Indigenous practice. So thank you. Okay, so now getting into details I'm going to talk about. It's been a couple years. Here, it's been a while. I still recall the moments of opening up the acceptance letter, via during the every release day. So I'll be honest, Columbia was not my first choice. If anything, like Columbia was just there. My original plan, I had set this out. I was going to go to college in Arizona. I live in New Mexico. I'm from Farmington. So my plan is to, okay, I'll go to Arizona State and I'll do computer science. Yeah. State and I'll do computer science engineering. Needless to say, I did not go to ASU and I'm not even in engineering. I'm studying political science and consumer studies. But anyway, I go back to that moment. I sat on the bedroom floor after I just got back from giving school tours. Fun fact, I gave school tours years ago. And I remember that I only applied to one Ivy League and that turned out to be Columbia. I had two reasons why I applied. The first one was from an alumni student, Kendall Harvey. He seems so cool, it's so fun, and I love what he was doing, not only within working in visions, because he inspired me to work in visions, but just how much he valued community in academic spaces. So here's the first reason. And the second one was I always wanted to live in New York City. That for me, New York was always sort of a dream and not something that I thought I ever see myself. So when I opened the letter, I was like, wow, I realized that that whole plan of going to ASU studying computer science engineering, I spent 7-8 months planning that entire thing. All of it was gone, one decision, one letter. And I also did not tell my parents I was going to get until after I got these. So that was a whole other conversation we had. So after that, like all of my graduates here, who I'm guessing most of you guys are from this city, found myself displaced in one of the biggest cities in the world. As a native girl from the Southwest, but in New York City, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I hated it at first. The public transportation, how people drove, the non-dry heat. I just like the community. I still like the I just like the community. So,
And also having to walk everywhere, like. I thought like, I just learned how to drive, so all the driving I also from. Needless to say, in my head, I felt like I made the wrong decision. I called my mom and I was on the verge of tears. I remember I was actually like in the corner of my dorm room and this was during academic success program. This is one of the programs we have here. So this is really ready to start. This is the program. So I was already in the corner of my room. My roommate was not in. Literally like huddled up, with my knees to my chest, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. I made the wrong choice. Like that other route could have been so much easier. I could have graduated in 3 years. Like I could have been done. And I was thinking to myself, why am I still here? Why did I decide to stay? I was myself was contemplating the meaning of life at the age of 19, questioning any decision, literally anything, and scared of the city, scared of the core curriculum, and scared of what would lie ahead. For me, there was this constant lurking of fear, and most of that was because of change. Everything I knew was gone, and everything I cared for was not physically there for me anymore. I knew I had entered into the earlier stages of adulthood. So after countless calls home and this lingering fear I knew I needed some help, but I wasn't the one who saw it. It somehow found me through a little organization called Native American Council. I remember some of the graduate faces here today. Wyatt, Sam, Grace, Olivia, Logan, Nina back then too. I found myself laughing, talking, and feeling that home feeling I've been missing. We made smoothies, guacamole, and of course ate breakfast. Going into the spring semester of my freshman year, I finally believed I belonged. Then COVID began. That fear I had coming into school was replaced by another fear that had affected everyone. Some of us stayed in the city, some of us went home. We faced challenges never experienced before, even by our own hands. At least they could give us advice about college, but this was nothing new to them as well. Our community is disproportionately affected, and it called upon a new stage of not only public health, activism, and returning to community values that continue to be read by forms of hate and bigotry. So after the COVID, and they let us come back on campus, returning was a struggle for all community groups across campus and clubs as well. We learned to navigate Zoom, other forms of video communication, getting in touch with one another via technology, via social media, and having to keep that touchness through everything. Needless to say, we have overcome. We're still facing different challenges, but we pretty much got a grip of it. As we slowly, have been surely returning back to some form of normalcy this year has been, I would say, stressed in the most involvement we had within Native American Council, both from our own members, but also from the university as well. I'll take you through some of our events that we've had throughout the year. So we had our Indigenous Peoples Day celebration, which consisted of a full day of events, starting with the tribal delegation of the Pueblo. We had an event inside the Road Library. We met with Barbie, Sky Deer, and some people from the Monopoly Center. We worked with the New York Human Rights Commission. The New York Human Rights Commission on Civil Rights. We hosted alumni, voice cat. We've done meeting workshops, worked with the Columbia Center for Local Policy, of course, Friday nights, and our biggest event of the year, our living in Palo. So we've done and I would say one of the biggest things that we've done is help get Indigenous House. If you guys don't know what Indigenous House is, It is the first space on campus solely for Indigenous students, so it's affordable housing and the body. Anyway, I'll tell you just a little bit about my life story to hopefully give you guys a sense of what US graduates experience. Also to express how we are right now is of course a big moment, however, it is a step into a period of change. Much bigger. Our dorms, dining halls, free washer and dryers, meetings at Indigenous House, eating Indian tacos and fried bread, meals over fall breaks, and spotting each other across campus. Yes, this is bad, but I say to my fellow graduates, we are people of resilience. We've overcome change, genocide, forced relocation, and now years of education at an institution called Columbia, taking up spaces that were meant for us. I'm thankful that you've all met and I've got to know most of you. First, I start with Sino. Thank you for the picnic and Navajo dinner invites and all of the meets I see on Sino. Wyatt, thank you for always being kind and an open mentor and always ready for a conversation. Grace, thank you for your advocacy to the departmentalized center for Ministry of Grace and for your passion for policy that affects Indigenous people, which inspires me all the time. Nathan, thank you for the humor and spirit you bring to every meeting and for putting out your soul. Audrey, thank you for your constant support for us all. Literally, I can always count on Audrey to comment for us to like, not even my posts, like even my friends. She's a nursery leader and also a really great office. She's made like turkey opera. Like, who does that? Thank you. Olivia, thank you for the love for our community, friendship, and being STEM. Logan, thank you for making the journey 10 times easier on us all. Both not only with your empathy, but also the jokes. The jokes, you should keep coming. Rita, thank you for your openness and kindness. I promise you will get that much sometime. Okay. Zane, thank you for always engaging in conversation about movies. I can always count on you to know. I can always count on you to go see a movie and be able to talk about it. So thank you. Also, we didn't annoy you too much at the Indigenous House. And then thank you to Ariel, not only for your work, but also for your leadership. We'll be working on a project here soon with the Center for Science. So lastly, I'm almost done. Okay, lastly, I thank you, actually not anything. So lastly, I thank all of you in advance for the positive change you will bring into the world through community, love, humor, and Indigenousness. I have no doubt you will find yourselves being happy. Now, I'm not sure what lies ahead for each one of us, but as I look at the audience, I know we are Indigenous. My last thanks goes to you, guardians, parents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, non-kin family, friends, advisors, mentors, and all of those who have passed in our lives. I promise that without you, we would not be here today. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to just do a personal reflection, and there was so much that has happened on this campus over the past few years, particularly to unlock Indigenous students on this campus, and we've waited for them to talk about it. I want to thank you for all the work that you've done on this campus, for Native students and all the people. Continuing gratitude. At this moment, we have always a special part of Native graduation when we turn the mic to our audience behind our graduates. This is an opportunity for friends, family, faculty, staff, allies of the community To share any message of support or gratitude or love that you'd like to give to any of our graduates or to all of them. So at this time, we have a multicultural affairs staff member. Thank you. This is Vanessa Gonzalez, multicultural affairs. We have a mic. Some people saw me get it. I was not going but I would like to invite any member of the audience who feels comfortable in sharing any message for them.
If you want to speak, just raise your hand and I'll run the mic to you. Okay, great.
Hi, Malia. We are so insanely proud of you, especially me. I just want to say
Thank you.
here today. So just you make us so proud every single. I just can't even believe you're right here. And then I also say those every single one. You right here are a representation of us and your family. And to be able to see you guys achieve things that you might not have ever been able to achieve. You make your families proud, you make your tribes proud, you make your communities proud. You go out there and kill it. Every single one of you, because we were here. You totally go out there and kill it and change the world for all of us.
Anyone else?
My mother's always said. Also, everyone, graduates, we say thank you for all your hard work. As Echo is doing us, I'm probably saying that thank you very proud of you. You're our champions. You represent us, our ideals, our culture, our backgrounds, and our history. So, as a reminder, don't forget about us. Your tribes need you, so keep remembering to come back to us, share your knowledge with the people you represent historically, but also to your family, your cousins, your little siblings, but also to the older siblings, the older cousins. And once you don't think that we can do it, but you did. So, be an excellent representative, and remember, and the non-language words and the intended of not these all of our relations. All of you are related to each other, you are all in business, but also you're related to everyone in the world. So, not sure then. Thank you very much.
Justin, Jennifer Soren, local is the lead. Current board is on the strength of the bus team. We're the forefront of the United States. We just want to say thank you and congratulations to all you Native graduates. Thankful that you're here and just carrying on that line and making examples from your younger youth and your communities. And for Logan, I say thank you again for all your hard work. Been working hard for 8 years, high school and college, and we're very proud of you.
We're continuing the line in our family. We have masters and holders, Christians, my nephew, my cousin's son, graduated from Columbia. He's got cousins that have masters in journalism and legal graphics, and cousin that went to MIT and everything, so he's continuing that tradition. Like something said, we're persevering, we're exceeding their ancestors' dreams and goals. We continue to do that all of you. We're thankful for all of you. We're thankful for the opportunity to celebrate with you. And I'm thankful for my family. I'll just roll away. This is one of these treaties with thankful for them and our friends there as well. So yeah, everybody.
Oh, God. Oh, man. So, so Grace stood up at a lot, or, sorry, she stood up. Every time I come to work, I kind of just, mess around and do my work. And it wasn't until my freshman year where I could kind of use you as an example.
Make it easier than it feels.
God's name, so to say, hello to all of you. My name is Marvin Pete. Everyone traveled. Like you said, you're a representation of your family. You're all here to continue to push. So as you move forward, don't stop. Keep pushing. Home's always going to be home. It's not going anywhere. So don't stop. Getting without 10. Now we're going to just keep out with your table. It's got to be you. So.
And a very good friend, Chief George Chicago, who is the chief of the whole university. I have short. Yeah. Thank you.
Visco Bridge is I have been in the shop. The American, yeah. My home is Round Rock, Arizona, which is Visco Bridge is I have. And it's in the central part of the nation. And in our family, have been going back and forth because, like many of us, and what's proven in the US, Native people in this nation live off the reservation, Washington, D.C., and Sam has gone back and forth. And Sam, as you know, it's really important. Grandparents, Father Russell, taught you is to really share with all the graduates and each of us that we can go through the classes of introduction to Indians and learn about colonization, decolonization, documenting. But the bottom line is that we have a culture and we have a people and we have a set of values and way of life. And that withstands everything. As much as we've been tried to be, obliterated, genocide, you name it. I am very concerned that all of you not be shackled and not be carrying this burden of always being like we're oppressed people and somehow intergenerational trauma is this that we carry.
You learned all that in your education. And you are very privileged young people. I know I went to school on reservation and education, I thought, I mean, it's just amazing, and I'm just in awe of everything each of you have done. But remember that who you are is central to everything that you're going to do. And the values that are embedded and are in this room are central to us continuing and sustaining and being the people that we are. And that can't be taken away from you. Because if you know who you are, then you don't need to listen to other people say, oh yeah, I know about the Navajos, the Navajos love to be rugs. Oh, they're really great silversmith. Oh yeah, don't they braid sheep too? And I mean, I was in a reception the other day, and a woman came up to me. She saw I was wearing my jewelry, and she says, oh my God, isn't it just horrible how we've treated the Native Americans? You know, I smiled nicely. I was trying to there was something wrong. And I just thought, wow. Immediately, people think they know who you are and your beauty and your jewelry and the things that you wear that you're proud of. Folks are going to look at you and immediately stereotype you. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. Because we've all been there in all these different ways that we've tried as parents to make sure that you're not as hurt, perhaps as badly as we were. But please remember, the world is waiting for you. Your people are waiting for you. We have a huge brain drain on the Navajo Nation. All our incredible young people go elsewhere. And right now, like Indian country, we have incredible leadership. We have ARPA funding, all this funding that's coming in because of COVID. And people are realizing how bad off we were. And we can't let this go by. We need you so badly, just as right here you were saying. That's exactly right. And remember your mentors. And if you go to so many conferences and whatever, just always, and even in your own life with your friends, so many times I've heard young people that have faced adversity and you think, how did you overcome this? And they say, well, there was one adult that took an interest. Maybe it was my teacher, whoever. I want you, each of you, to be that person in somebody else's life. It's going to just multiply. And all of us adults here and parents, we need to do that too. We need to do that because we can make a difference. So with great gratitude and humbleness, and I keep pinching myself that this has happened, I'm just very, very, very glad to be in this community. And it hasn't been easy for my spirit. And he knows that. And I'm sure you have had your own adversities. So I'm just grateful for this moment. Take care.
We'll take a couple more. We have some closing remarks. Then I know folks are also looking forward to our meal reception.
One of her really long lost acting minutes, but only a few years old. I listened to you speak after I seen this program and I remember. I'm trying really hard not to cry. But I would also like to acknowledge everybody's tears because I really trying to how far we've come as people. I wish I could see more tears. I want to see tears flowing, but it's really good for our experience.
I just want to acknowledge all of you, Nyawangoa, Chiabrego, Luayote, Kitgo, Wasadawans, Wazamne, Giovanni, Gakmo, Zalaji, Chiabrego is away up there, Bogatsanoni, really happy to be here, to witness to how my daughter's here, my cousins, I'm so proud of you. And I'll try not to. But, congratulations to everybody, and I would really like to just remind you all to, never forget where you come from. Never forget your connection to the land, and never forget that you are the land, you are creation, and to keep going. Yeah, really,
Also, I wanted to have Schweitz over there on this month. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for American Indian College Fund and their native chaplains to college for high school students. We came with a group of American students from Wisconsin and a great leader in education, Shannon Chapman, who brought, I think it was 19 of our wildest native kids who were in all of this city. And Matthew was one of them who got accepted, and he is a leader right now for their another thing is that Columbia also did an outreach with the native students who came to our tribal college, and they tried to recruit some of them. And another time that Matthew, you don't really think you're going to make it to an Ivy League school, but why not? If you see other native students doing it, maybe I can do it too. So we wouldn't be here without the American Indian College Fund. So I want to make sure everybody knows. If you have the other siblings, make sure that you checking that out. They really want us to succeed, and there's always outreach. And I know you guys are going to get back to follow in. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Got people in, it's there to you. And it made me super sad because my best friend is gonna be. But I'm glad it's not as bad as New York City. Well, proud of you. You've got it already. 4 years so fast. That's thank you.
Thank you. My name is Albert Jewett from Shannon River Central Park for Wyatt is my son, he's the youngest of 6. He's had a lot of nieces and nephews, some of which are in higher education, others are just coming up. And he's, I guess he's their big role model. In this school, when he was in high school, he was always kind of the trendsetter, and he's got a lot of people that look up to him, very proud of him. He's had a lot of support from the community. When he came to Columbia, when he selected Columbia, I came up and with him and we looked at I don't know, it was overwhelmed with the city. But he stayed and he's decided he was gonna come. And this is the only other time I made it back up